Imagine this. One single company pulling in more money every year than the GDP of entire countries. A company that sells over 9 million cars in a single year. That's one new set of keys handed over to a customer every 3.5 seconds. A company that makes cars for broke college kids, for millionaires, and even for kings. From Skoda, the budget-friendly commuter, to Audi, the sleek executive ride, to the legendary Bentley, and even the wild, untamed Lamborghini. From the 20th century icon, the Beetle, to cutting-edge electric beasts like the Porsche Taycan and the ID. Buzz. But the real questions are, how does one company hold so much power, from the bottom to the very top of the market? How did they unite such total opposites under one roof, without collapsing? And how did they build a massive web of influence that shaped the tastes and drained the wallets of millions around the world? That's what we're about to uncover, right here, right now. This isn't just a business story, it's the story of an idea. Back in the 1930s, Nazi Germany had a dream to build a people's car, Volkswagen. Hitler himself pitched the concept to engineering genius Ferdinand Porsche, a car that was cheap, simple, and easy to mass produce, so that every German citizen could afford it. The result? The first design of what would later become the Beetle. But then, World War II hit. And that dream, it got twisted. The factory in Wolfsburg stopped making cars and started pumping out military equipment instead. The workforce? Forced laborers, many of them prisoners of war. By the end of the war, the place was rubble. And here's where the plot twists. In 1945, British troops marched into Wolfsburg. They had two options: level the factory to the ground or try to save it. They chose to save it. They pitched the Beetle to British military leadership as a cheap, reliable car for their soldiers. It worked. Production restarted. And within just a few years, the Beetle became a global phenomenon, a symbol of post-war German recovery, and one of the most beloved cars on the planet. By the 1970s, Volkswagen was strong in Europe, but the competition fierce. So the company made a genius move. Don't fight every rival head-on, buy them instead. Step 1. German luxury 1965. Volkswagen buys Audi. This was their ticket into the high-end luxury and tech market. A direct shot at BMW and Mercedes. Step 2. Conquering the South 1986. They acquire SEAT from Spain. This gave them cheaper production and opened the doors to Latin America and Southern Europe. Step 3. Eastern Europe power play 1991. They take over Skoda in the Czech Republic. At the time, Skoda was seen as cheap and low quality, but with Volkswagen's engineering, it transformed into a reliable, affordable brand that sold like crazy. Step 4. Enter the Legends 98, the explosion. In one historic year, Volkswagen scoops up Lamborghini, Bentley, and Bugatti. That's speed, luxury, and prestige, all under one empire. Step 5. The Crown Jewel 2012. They take full control of Porsche, a brand founded by the same man who designed the original Beetle, Ferdinand Porsche. At this point, Volkswagen had it all. The everyday cars, the sports cars, the luxury cruisers, and the hypercars that break world records. By the early 2000s, Volkswagen wasn't just selling cars. They were running the automotive world like a supermarket for vehicles. Some years, they even beat Toyota as the largest car manufacturer in the world. They dominated Europe for over 2 decades and had a presence in more than 150 countries. But then, 2015 hit, and the earth shook. September 2015, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency drops a bombshell. Volkswagen had been cheating emissions tests. They installed special software in their diesel cars that made emissions look clean during tests. But out on the road, pollution levels were many times higher. The fallout? Over $30 billion in fines and costs. And trust in the brand? Shattered. Any other company might have crumbled. But Volkswagen? They didn't play defense. They went on the attack. Instead of clinging to the past, Volkswagen poured billions into the future. They launched the ID series, a full lineup of electric vehicles. They built massive battery factories in Germany and China. Today, the ID.4 and ID.3 go head-to-head with Tesla, while the Porsche Taycan has become one of the most successful luxury EVs in the world. Right now, Volkswagen Group manages over 10 brands, from the people's cars to the cars of kings. Their history is filled with sky-high triumphs and brutal crashes. But their ability to adapt? That's what makes them one of the most powerful forces in the auto industry. The big question now is, will Volkswagen dominate the electric future just like they conquered the world of gasoline cars? Or will the rising giants from China and America snatch the crown from their hands? Honestly, when we talk about Volkswagen, we're not just talking about a car company. We're talking about an economic giant, almost like its own country, with its own economy, its own industrial army, and long-term strategies that move over decades, not years. Volkswagen's real power, in my opinion, isn't just in the numbers. Though we're talking over 9 million cars sold every single year, which puts them right up there with giants like Toyota. No, their real strength is in owning every single layer of the market. If you're a college student on a budget, you've got Skoda or SEAT. If you want something classy and comfortable, there's Audi. If you're chasing a performance thrill, you've got Porsche. And if you want pure, insane speed on an Italian highway, there's Lamborghini. Even kings and presidents? Volkswagen's got Bentley for that. That means they've locked down every corner of the market, and they're not leaving any gap for a competitor to easily slip in. And that's the genius in their strategy. Instead of wasting resources fighting every rival, they went out and bought those rivals. But let's be real. Even a company this powerful has faced some brutal hits. The biggest? Dieselgate. That scandal could have knocked any other company right off the throne. But Volkswagen, they proved they're not your average automaker. Instead of clinging to the past and defending themselves, they made a bold move. They invested in the future. They threw billions into electric vehicles and jumped headfirst into the EV race. And I honestly think that move could be the thing that keeps them on top for the next 20 years, if they play it right. Why? Because the car market is changing fast. The companies that ruled the road 20 years ago aren't necessarily the ones leading today. Now you've got Tesla in the US, BYD in China, and new startups popping out of nowhere making headlines. If Volkswagen can't outpace them, they could lose a massive chunk of their market almost overnight. But when you look at what they've got, their enormous factories, their distribution networks that stretch across every continent, and decades of experience managing brands that couldn't be more different from each other, I'd say their chances of winning are still very high. The future for Volkswagen isn't 100% guaranteed, but if there's one company with the tools, the experience, and the resources to lead the electric era, it's Volkswagen. It's not going to be easy, especially with Chinese competition coming in hot with lower prices and tech that's evolving insanely fast. But if history tells us anything, it's that Volkswagen always finds a way to come back from any crisis. And that's why I believe in the years ahead, we might see Volkswagen writing a brand new chapter in its history. A chapter that could be even bigger than the days when they ruled the gasoline car world.